In the heart of Ijaye village, where clay huts stood proudly under the shade of tall palm trees, young Adesewa fetched water at the stream. Her laughter echoed with Kunle's as they walked together. They were inseparable, though both knew love was dangerous. Tradition said the chief chose his bride, and when Oba Adeyemi's eyes fell on Adesewa, her fate was sealed. When the elders came to her home, her mother, Mama Ranti, wept silently. She knew her daughter's heart belonged elsewhere, but to refuse the chief was to defy the ancestors themselves. The village prepared for the fire ritual, a marriage rite that symbolized burning away a bride's past. But Adesewa's silence hid her storm. Oba Adeyemi summoned Adesewa's family. He sat in his palace, carved with wooden masks and bronze statues. Dressed in a flowing agbada of gold, coral beads heavy on his neck, he spoke with authority. "Your daughter shall be my wife. She will walk through the fire to cleanse her spirit, and she will belong to me." Mama Ranti's lips trembled. Baba Ojo nodded firmly, warning that no maiden had ever refused the fire. To do so was to call down the wrath of the gods. That night, Adesewa sat under the moonlight with Kunle. "I will not walk through his fire," she whispered. Kunle held her hand, but fear tightened his chest. Refusing the fire meant danger, exile, or death. The days passed quickly, and whispers filled the village. Women gossiped at the stream, children ran with excitement, and drummers prepared for the fire ritual. Everyone was certain Adesewa would become the chief's bride, but Adesewa's heart beat for Kunle, and she could not bear the thought of the flames that would erase her love. One evening, Mama Ranti found her daughter sitting by the cooking fire, eyes wet with tears. "My child," she said softly, "the gods gave us tradition. To refuse the chief is to invite shame and death." "But Mama," Adesewa replied firmly, "the gods also gave me a heart, and my heart belongs to Kunle." Outside, hidden in the shadows, Baba Ojo listened. His eyes narrowed. He would not allow a girl's disobedience to dishonor the village. That same night, he carried the secret to Oba Adeyemi. The chief's face darkened with anger. "If she refuses me, she refuses the ancestors, and for that, she shall learn the weight of fire." Kunle could not sleep. The thought of losing Adesewa tore at his soul. He slipped through the silent village and tapped softly on her window. Adesewa emerged, her wrapper tied her. "Kunle," she whispered, "if they force me into the fire, I will not survive. My heart will burn before my body does." "Then we must run," Kunle said with desperate fire in his eyes. "Tonight, before the dawn, let us flee into the forest." Adesewa hesitated. She thought of her mother, of the shame it would bring. But when Kunle held her hands, she saw courage instead of fear. Mama Ranti, awake in her heart, overheard their whispers. Her heart was torn in two, between protecting her daughter and obeying tradition. She pressed her hands over her ears, tears falling. She knew that whichever choice Adesewa made, the gods would demand a price. The day of the ritual arrived. Drums thundered across the village as women dressed Adesewa in coral beads and a flowing wrapper of red and white. Her face glowed, but her eyes told another story. The villagers gathered near the great fire pit, where flames roared high into the sky. Baba Ojo raised his staff and chanted, "The bride shall walk through the fire and leave her past behind." Kunle stood at the edge of the crowd, fists clenched, his bow hidden beneath his cloak. He could not let her step into the flames. Oba Adeyemi, adorned in his golden agbada, smiled with pride, certain that the ancestors had secured his victory. But as the drums beat louder, Adesewa froze. She stepped forward, then stopped. Her voice rang out clear and strong. "I will not walk through your fire. My love cannot be burned away. The crowd gasped. Baba Ojo struck the ground with his staff. Oba Adeyemi's smile vanished, and Kunle's heart leapt with both fear and pride. Chaos erupted. Some villagers shouted that Adesewa had cursed the ancestors. Others whispered with awe at her courage. Oba Adeyemi rose from his throne, voice booming. "Seize her! No woman defies me!" Kunle leapt forward, pulling his bow, an arrow drawn. "Touch her and you will face me!" Gasps spread through the crowd. The hunter challenging the chief was unthinkable. Baba Ojo's staff shook as he cried, "This is rebellion! The gods will punish us all!" Mama Ranti ran into the circle, falling to her knees. "Please," she begged, "do not let blood soak the soil." But the fire roared higher, as if the ancestors themselves demanded a judgment. The villagers stood frozen, torn between fear of the chief and admiration for the lover's courage. The night ended not with flames, but with truth. Kunle and Adesewa stood hand in hand, unshaken by the chief's anger. Oba Adeyemi's men moved to seize them, but the villagers stirred. One by one, voices rose. "Let her choose. Love is not a crime." Even the drummers hesitated, their hands trembling over the skins. The chief's power cracked beneath the weight of his people's voices. At last, Mama Ranti stood beside her daughter. "If my child must face death, then so shall I, but she will not burn for choosing love." Oba Adeyemi roared in fury, but he knew the truth. A chief without his people is no chief at all. With a scowl, he turned away. The fire died down, and silence filled the night. Adesewa had refused the fire, and in doing so, lit a new flame of courage in her village.